Hey everybody, this is Zach again with the Housing Homestead. So I wanted to do an update on a few things that I'm doing. I cropped out most of my collards. Everything that I planted into the large straw bale garden bed has sprouted, so very good germination on my carrots, very good germination on my peanuts. Um, and I know it's still very early in the year to be planting that kind of stuff, but I'm hoping that because it's on a straw bale, it's going to be a little bit warmer, be above the frost line or whatever. And if it happens to be a frost, I think it'd survive. I wanted to go over what I'm doing right now today, and that is creating a seed start mix. My goal is to create a very high quality mix that when I transplant like tomatoes and peppers in the ground using this mix, that's infusing the soil with extra goodies. So now I know I've said in a previous video that we don't plan on being here for very long, but it's a good experience. So I will walk you through what I'm putting into it, what I'm not putting into it for various reasons, and most of those reasons are just going to be because I don't have time for it, or don't have it available, and don't want to spend the money. So give me just a second, and I'll show you everything that's going in it. Alright, we'll start with this. This is coconut coir, which is just, the outside of the coconut's been turned into a substrate for a growing medium. I think I spent maybe like $30 on these two, and they weigh about 10 pounds a piece, so I'm supposed to get about 2.5 cubic feet per bag after I've rehydrated it. Let's see, we'll move over here. Some molasses. It's got a little bit of that, and that's going to be kind of help feed the microorganisms. It's got some trace minerals in there, some sulfur and stuff like that. Azomite, which is a volcanic ash, like a rock dust. So it's got trace minerals, and it'll help kind of even out what I'm putting in there. This is Job's Organics vegetable fertilizer, and what I like about it is that it's got beneficial microorganisms in it. It's got the endo and ecto mycorrhizal fungi, and plus different bacteria that are helpful for growing plants. And then I also have this. It's a biochar. Now this was just some stuff that I had bought some lump hardwood charcoal and inoculated it and threw it out in the yard. Didn't break it down at all. And these, I just gathered some pieces and crushed them up, and I'm going to add this. And then, like I've said, I want to create like a supercharged, infusion of organic material every time I transplant something. So I think between all of this, I'll get a really good start. Now I could add a couple other things, worm castings and whatnot. And in the future I probably will. Right now I just don't have the worm castings, and I really try to be as economical as possible. And I'll go over a few things why I chose what I chose. I'm trying out the coconut coir simply because of its ability to hold moisture and retain moisture. I like peat moss. I mean, it's a good substrate to use, and if it's sustainably harvested, I mean, it should last a long time. It's got a very cation exchange, if I'm saying that correctly. It means it can hold on to nutrients. And one problem is that when it's very acidic for one thing, because it pulls all those nutrients, and you have to add a lot of calcium in order to bring up the pH. And if it dries out, good luck getting it wet again. So that's one reason why I'm trying to use the coconut coir, is because if it dries out, it's just when you wet it, it's gonna get wet again. It does contain lots of what's called lignans, which is like going to be almost like fiber for bacteria. So fiber and the mycorrhizal fungi will be able to eat off of that. Again, it doesn't have as high as a cation exchange as peat moss, but it's high enough. I think it's like 40 to 60 or something like that was like the average. So I'm going to charge it. So the idea is that I'm going to mix all this stuff together and let it sit for a week or so, and then start using it. Again, I'll be using molasses as a food source for some of the bacteria that are going to come from the organic fertilizer. And it's got some trace minerals in there, just a little bit, something to feed it. I'm taking a sterile mixture and creating a living soil with it. I could take some soil and create an inoculant from my garden, but I don't know. That's not what I'm doing. And here also, like I said, I've got azomite, so that'll help round out everything that's not going to be included in the fertilizer. This fertilizer's got obviously nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, and a few other things. But the azomite's going to really help round it out. So anything that's missing from any of this, it's going to help do it. So I'm not sure. I kind of just eyeballed it when it come to proportions. And then obviously I'm going to add some biochar. Now that's going to help create another high cation exchange substrate that the microorganisms can live in, hold on to nutrients, and it'll stay in the soil for a very long time, hundreds of years supposedly. So go through all that. So between all that, I should get a very good, nice, high quality seed starter. And I'll be for my tomatoes and my peppers. And I like the idea of every time that I'm putting something into the soil from a transplant, I'm just reinfusing it with fresh, new organic material. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna let it cook pretty much for at least a week before I use it, just because it'll give the organisms to give them a chance to kind of come alive and create this soil mixture. So I'll let you know how it goes. And I'll see you next time when I'm transplanting. All right, thanks. Bye.